Hello, and welcome to the last episode of 2025 of the Spirit and Soul podcast. It has been a year. It has been a beautiful year. Within the podcast, we had so many incredible guests and just talked about a lot of things. I would say the Manifesting Playbook was like one of your favorites of the year. And so, what I'm going to suggest before we get into this episode is go back and listen to some of your favorites. Maybe you need some reminding. I love doing this, and I actually do this all throughout the years. There are just some podcast episodes that I listen to over and over and over again because it had so much in it. So make sure that you're doing that this year and setting yourself up for whatever it is you need for the new year. Now, we did a lot of talking about clearing out 2025 things. How do we move forward? And, we do talk a lot about setting manifestations and intentions and how do we do this in really powerful ways. And what I really wanted to do with this episode here is to not really get into that because we talked about it a lot and we will continue to talk about best ways to set manifestations and how to achieve them and goals and all the things. But what I really wanted to focus on here is the skills, the energetic skills that you need to thrive in 2026. That's where I want to focus on because we can go back and listen to those episodes and listen to the new ones up ahead. But what do you need to thrive in 2026? What do we need? So I have 7 things for you, 7 skills that will be absolutely mandatory, especially given the energy of 2026 and what that's bringing. Now, we're going to have an incredible astrologer on the Spirit and Soul podcast talking about that energy. So I'm not diving deep into those things, but just from what I know, these are some of the skills that you're going to need. So are we ready? Okay, so skill number 1 is this: self-leadership. You have to choose yourself first and choose yourself consistently. This is going to be your biggest asset because you have to learn to start listening to you. You have to start learning to listen to that internal compass that's going to move you forward in the direction of the things that you want in your life. You can write down all the manifestations, you can write down all the goals that you want in the world. But if you are looking at everything outside of you and not looking within, you're going to have a real hard time getting there. So you really need to start leading yourself, guiding yourself. Now, here's what I'm going to say. This doesn't mean don't have a coach, don't get guidance from others. That is not what this means. I am a person that always has a coach. I have multiple coaches right now, multiple. I think they are so important. But at the end of the day, you know best. At the end of the day, you have free will. A coach is going to tell you what your blind spots are. They're going to give you some guidance and you're going to walk forward from there. Okay? So I do think it's really important. But what it means to be a leader of yourself or to have self-leadership, it means that when you're listening to yourself, you are making decisions from a place of clarity because the soul already knows the way. And so you make the decisions based on the clarity that you have because you're going to start tapping in, right? You're going to start that tapping in energy, that meditating, the automatic writing, the going for a walk in nature. We're going to start doing those things so that we can listen. This is what I'm asking you to do. And I know, don't tell me that I don't like to meditate. I'm not a good meditator. I honestly don't want to hear it because it is actually your most natural state to meditate. And the thing is that we tell ourselves that we can't meditate because we think that a running mind is actually the worst thing and takes you out of the meditative state. And I assure you that it does not. Your mind is doing what it's actually made to do. You just have to learn not to attach to the things that you're hearing, seeing, etc., that are running through the mind. Okay? When you can do that, meditation becomes easy. And I'm not saying you have to meditate for an hour a day, but 10 minutes will do you good. I promise you and assure you, because then you can start making decisions from clarity of the soul, okay? And not from fear of the mind. When you make decisions from the mind, from that space, you're doing it from fear-based mentality, because the mind is associated with keeping you alive. And so it's always looking for survival, which means that it always thinks that it's going to get attacked or that it has to be in fear. And so it's always going to tell you about what you should fear. But the soul knows the way, knows what is expansive, and has the clarity that you need to make the best of 2026. It also means that you are going to be choosing aligned action, taking aligned action. And you're going to do it even when it stretches you. You're going to do it because the soul knows the way, okay? The mind is going to give you chaos. The soul is going to give you distraction. And when you can self-lead, you can allow yourself to lead from soul, which is the most powerful thing you can do. Okay, energetic skill number 2 is this. Ooh, are you ready? Discernment. Oh my gosh. Having discernment is going to be really powerful. Who and what gets access to you? We people please. We do things that we see the red flags from a mile away. And yet we will say, sure, yeah, oh no. And we'll start to sweep things under the rug. And that is not having discernment. And when you're people pleasing, you're probably going to feel, number 1, depleted, number 2, overwhelmed. Because you're saying yes to everybody else. You're saying yes to all of their energy. You're saying yes to whatever they need you to do or what they want you to do. And you're saying no to you. And every time you say yes to somebody else, you're saying no to you. And that is not having good discernment. And I'm not saying don't do anything for others. I'm not saying that. But when you know it's against your better judgment, when you know it's taking away from the time that you need, you have to start putting yourself first. And you have to understand who gets access to you, what gets access to you, and when. When do they get to have access to you? I'm sorry, but I don't care if it's your mom, your dad. I don't care who it is. That does not mean that you have to drop every single thing for them. You have a life too. And your life has to come first. And that doesn't mean that you're not doing things for others. I want to be really, really clear about that. I just want you to have discernment with the when you do it and does it feel good for you? And also that you can say no. All right? The other thing is this. If you are looking to grow, which I hope that you are in 2026, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in business, or whether it's you're growing in life, personal development, whatever it is, you have to know which rooms are elevating you. You have to know which rooms are they are the rooms to be in. They're the rooms that are going to bring you up. And you should feel a little bit uncomfortable in those rooms because you shouldn't be the top dog in the room unless you're like hosting the room, right? Like you should be at the bottom, maybe the middle in the room and feel uncomfortable a little bit because those people are going to get you to grow. And if you feel like you are the top in the room, you're in the wrong rooms. If you feel like I already know this, then why aren't you just implementing it? Why are you sitting in this room and not implementing what you already know? Because you're probably sitting in that room thinking you need the room, thinking it'll help you grow, when in fact you already have what you need. You just haven't implemented it. Okay? So it's going to be important for you to see where you're going, see who you're saying yes to, recognize the relationships in your life that drain you. See the relationships in your life that are expanding you and the ones that are contracting you. And be really, really intentional about what you consume. social media, the news, they can be an interesting place. And your social media, what is beautiful about your social media is that you can tell it what you want to see. You can actually set it up to give you what you need to grow, because there is so much content out there, and there's so much content that will help you to grow. There's so much content that you can learn from, that you can grow from, that you can incorporate in your life. And then there's just the content that's fluff. And sometimes fluff is funny, and sometimes that's what you need. But when you're going to consume, make sure that the consumption is of a higher vibration frequency. And that is going to really, really help you have that energetic skill of discernment, of really seeing, like, who are you sharing time and space with? Okay. All right. Energetic skill number 3, creative courage. Creative courage, and also authentic expression. So 2026 has some like Uranus moving into Gemini energy, and this is probably the only thing that you're going to hear from me about this. But Gemini energy is all about the voice and communication. So this year is a year of voice, of expression, of being original, of being authentically you. I told you, 2 episodes ago that my word for this year is audacity. Having the audacity to be me, to be the most authentic, expressed, fully expressed version of me that I am just starting to know as well, right? The pieces of me that I'm getting to know, I'm going to start to embody her, show her off to the world as I get to know her, right? So that is really living into the full expression. I'm not waiting to see if I'm comfortable with her. She is my future self, so I'm jumping right in, right? And that's where I've kind of held back a little bit. I've noticed in my life that I see a version of me emerging that I tiptoe into rather than just boldly step in. So that's not this year. We're being bold this year, authentically you this year. And I want you to understand this. You don't need to be perfect. And I feel like when it comes to creativity, and when it comes to especially spaces like where you're, video recording yourself, or, whether you're starting a podcast, or like you're doing videos for Instagram or whatever it is on TikTok, whatever it might be, okay? You don't have to be perfect. Perfect does not exist. Perfection, and striving for perfection is a nervous system response to keep you down, to keep you also always feeling like you're not worthy. So I want you to really understand that, because this year is ripe for you to creatively express yourself. And when I say creatively, it can mean artistically, it can mean through writing, it can mean through so many different outlets of what you would consider to be art or creativity in that sense. But what I also want you to lean into is the understanding that creativity means this is all held in the sacral chakra. And this is creating your best life, creating the life that you want to see, and having the courage to do that. And in order to do that, you need to be in that full expression of you, and to trust that full expression, to love that full expression of you. And not to say, oh, I'm not creative, because I know that someone is listening to this right now saying, well, that energetic skill is not for me. And if that's you, stop it right now. Okay, we all have creativity within us in some way, shape, or form. I guarantee you that you are creative in some way. Maybe you're a creative thinker, right? Maybe you can think outside the box, right? What is it? We all have that creativity. And I'm going to tell you why I know this for sure, because we all have a sacral chakra, right? And the sacral chakra is your energetic area of creation, okay? So you have it within you. You just haven't let yourself go there creatively, because being creative feels vulnerable. And I get that. I was there once. I understand that. You don't want to be seen. You don't want to be heard. You don't want to, what if somebody says this? What if somebody says that? No more. No more of that, because honestly, no one's thinking about you. And if they are, or they're saying anything nasty, they don't get to honestly be in your life. They don't get to have a say in your life. And if you think that maybe you had this like dream of like starting a business and you're like, oh, but I can't do the videos on social media and I have to do social media. Okay. Yeah, you do, right? And you'd be smart to. And you got to put yourself out there and not worry about what some stupid person from high school is going to think or say. Okay? Someone sitting in the cheap seats in your life doesn't get to have a front row say. They don't get to have a front row view. And let me tell you something, those people that are sitting in the front row are the ones that are cheering you on. And I'm going to be realistic with you too. A lot of times the people in the front row are not people that you even know that well. They might not be your family members and they might not be your friends in the front row of your life, but your biggest cheerleaders, the ones that are cheering you on and like they believe in you, those are your people. And I guarantee you that you will find those people when you put yourself out there. Okay, they always say like no one cheers for you harder than like, an Instagram stranger. And it can be true sometimes, like there are people because they resonate with you. They get you. So you don't have to know them. Your energy knows each other and they cheer for you. And I am so grateful for every single person, whether I know them that's cheering me on or that I don't know that's cheering me on, personally that's cheering me on. I'm grateful for every single one. Every single one, because I've also been the cheerleader and am the cheerleader for a lot of people. Like, honestly, I don't think there's anybody that cheers harder than a Spirit and Soul staff member. I'm not going to lie, because we hype each other up and we hype up if you walked in the door, we're hyping you up. We are. It's a thing because we love to hype people up and like get them in that energy of like, yes, like you can do it because you can, right? So your creative expression, it's going to take courage, right? And you can do it. You were actually meant to do it. And I want you to understand that this is the year that your voice becomes a magnet. Your creativity becomes a magnet to the people that are meant to be in your life. And we're getting rid of stale energy. We're leaving stale energy in 2025, okay? And that includes people. Let's be realistic. All right. Energetic skill number 4. Frequency, consistency. This means that you stay in alignment with the things that you want. So you're staying in the frequency with the things that you want long enough to see results. You heard me. Long enough to see results. So what happens is when we start to make changes, it is just what the mind does. It wants to look for the safety of familiarity. And when you make changes in your life or you start to live into the becoming, you start to live into a future version of you and you start doing new things, the mind is going to rear its ugly head and tell you that you are not safe, that, it's going to start telling you like negative things. You might have a lot of negative self-talk. You might go into fear states and doubt states. And I want you to know that that is normal. Okay? You have to be the one to push through it. You have to be the one that says, I hear you, but not today. That's not my truth. My truth is this. We are safe. That is that's what you need to start doing to the mind. And inevitably, you're going to get past it. And when you get past it, you're going to be doing your thing in that new familiar state. And what will happen is that you will fall. You will get faced with that same thinking again. And it kind of comes when you least expect it. And so in that state, what I want you to do is remember the new state, not the old one. This is the messy middle. This is the becoming where you're pulled in two different directions, where the old version of you will try one last time to bring you back, because there's just something unsafe feeling about newness still. Even though we're getting familiar with it, there's just something about it. And the mind will bring you back. I always think of that that Jennifer Lopez movie. I can't think of it right. Oh, Enough. When, her dad, Jupiter, right, says, he trains her and he said, like, inevitably, he's going to come and kick you while you're down. Inevitably. They're going to come and he's going to come back for you. As the coward that he is, right? This is like the mind. The coward that it is will try to kick you, maybe not while you're down. It will try to bring you back to it. And you have to come back stronger, right? Just like J-Lo. Come back stronger. And fight and say, that's enough, right? This is the new version of me. So what happens is that people get to that stage and they go back and then they never go forward again. And I see this sometimes within myself as well. And that's why, like, I want you to be conscious of it, because sometimes I'm conscious of it too late. Not that it's too late. I can always go back for it. But if I would have caught it when it was happening, a lot of times my things aren't negative self-talk. It's just me saying that I don't have enough time, right? So even though I don't have enough time, feels very loose and feels very whatever, that's just life. It's actually not, right? It is actually a fear-based response. It's a lack response. It's a fear-based response. And it's a nervous system response. So that is a cue for you to know to shift back out of it, start to unwind things, rework it. We can do rapid recode, right? Like, we can do things to start to tell the mind a new story. But I don't want you to abandon the new self. Okay, I want you to keep moving forward. So staying consistent in the frequency. That's what frequency consistency means. It's staying consistent in the frequency of what you want. Now, things that can help you do this. Crystals can help you do this, right? Crystals are a stable energy force to human erratic energy. We have emotions and we go like up and down with our energy. And so we need something that stabilizes it for us. And that's why I love working with crystals so much. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I love working with crystals, because it really does become an ally to keep you in that frequency. So suggestions for crystals to keep you in a higher vibration and to keep you in a transformation state and energy is going to be moldavite, charoite, clear quartz. Depending on your intention, there are so many crystals, but if it's like love, you can do rose quartz. If it's money, you can do pyrite or green aventurine, or citrine. There's so many different things, and you can write to us. You can come into Spirit and Soul, and we can guide you with what you feel like you need based on your energy and what you are looking to call in. But there are things that you can do. Also, the rituals, like using Frank's candles, the oils, all of that, it's very intention-based to help you to stay in that frequency. Okay? So there is a lot of things that you can do, but number one is going to be to catch the mind and not give in to it. Okay, energetic skill number 5. And this one's going to be a hard one for some people. My people, my friends that are listening that like to feel like you have to be busy, feel like you have shiny object syndrome, that is precision. So energetic skill number 5 is precision. It is doing fewer things with more impact. Fewer things, more impact. So we're not multitasking. Multitasking, I don't care what you tell yourself, like, I'm so good at multitasking. You're not, right? Multitasking, I used to tell myself this. Multitasking is you taking a really long time to get a bunch of things done rather than just getting one thing done at a time, and it would take you a lot shorter. I guarantee you, and I promise you, please don't wear multitasking as a badge of honor. I remember I used to ask that question, and it's like I cringe when I think about it when I used to interview people for when I used to work at the bank. And one of the things was like, how are you at multitasking? Right? And it's like the question I had to ask, but like there was a part of me that recognize that multitasking was not a badge of honor at the time, but like we had to make sure that they could multitask. So please don't wear it as a badge of honor. Precision is going to lead you to clarity. Okay. So a lot, right? You see a theme here. We're talking a lot about clarity, getting clear this year about where you want to go, what you want to do. And you can't be clear if you're just busying yourself. You have to really let go of the busy work. You have to choose the opportunities that actually matter for you, whether it is in business or not. What will make you have a growth mindset? Like what is going to bring you to a place that helps you to grow? And also like, let's simplify. I find that a lot of times, like even in business, and I've had to learn this the hard way, to be quite honest with you, that the busyness, the overdoing it, overdoing everything, like we're gonna add this and that and this and that, the path becomes muddied. So it's very interesting, and you can get very good at having a path and creating things that stick to the path. Okay. So like, for us, for Spirit and Soul, it's like products, right? Now it can feel like, if we allow it to, it could feel like we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that. But every single thing is intentional living based, ritual based of the things that we wanted to do in our lives and what is successful for us. Right? So we simplify the path by saying no to a lot of things, right? There are a lot of ideas that we've had and we're like, no, because it doesn't really fit. Like we wanted to do like, I don't know what, I can't even think of it. We wanted to do a product. I remember it now. I'm not going to say what it is in case we come back to it, but we wanted to do one product and we're like, it's cute, but, right? And as soon as you say it's cute, but it doesn't fit into the intentional living, it's just cute, right? So like simplify it, right? We can't say yes to everything. So we're going to say yes to the things that make the most impact and that are important. So I want you to be able to do that for yourself. Okay. When you do this, you focus the energy on what moves the needle most in your life, that creates space for the things that you want in your life. And you have that space now for it to work for you, right? So like you can now have space for you to grow, for you to read, for you to do the things that actually help you to grow. Okay. Energetic skill number 6. It might be my favorite on the list. I'm not sure because they're all great, but this one is going to be powerful. And this is not just for 2026. This is for all the time. Embodiment before action. Embody the version of you. This is the most magnetic skill of all of the skills. When you can embody the version of you before she exists, you will magnetize your desires and you're going to magnetize them fast. Again, if you can have that frequency consistency, right? So those two are going to go together. You have to be consistent with it. But you don't have to try to become the version of you that has the thing. You have to just become them first. So I want you to take the word try. I'm trying to become that version. No, you're not. Right? Like you're probably not. So what I want you to do is to just be them. You have to see what they're like. That's why I always say like merge with the future version of yourself. Do the timeline jumping if you can. Do the timeline tapping into the timeline of the version of you that has what you want. Do those things so you can get to know that version of you. And then you can become them now. You don't have to have all the money in the bank, the love of your life. You don't have to have anything but yourself and the free will to become that person, to understand who that person is, and then take steps from there. But you have to do the embodiment work, and then you take that action. And this is so beautiful, like so beautiful. Embodiment is going to create alignment and it's going to create ease. Understand that. So when you do the embodiment, I'm guaranteeing you that things will start to come your way. Opportunities are going to start to come your way, because how can it not? It is law of attraction. Remember, you can't argue with these universal laws. Okay, and here is, this one might be my favorite too. I'm not sure. All right, maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to choose. Okay, but here's the thing. Energetic skill number 7 is what I talk about all the time, and that is nervous system spaciousness. So what that means is the nervous system needs space to allow in the expansion. If you are not working on the nervous system, like through spinal energetics with me or something like that, you're not allowing in the space for the things that you want, for the expansion that you want. And also, you're going to feel like chronically stressed, chronically overwhelmed. And you don't want to feel like that, number one. Is that really a life that you want to live? But that's a nervous system response to be stressed to your environments. So the things that you want, you need to be able to energetically hold them. And you can't hold them if you have lots of bound tension patterns and you have these things in your life that are creating ceilings for you. It's just not going to happen. Energetically, it just can't come in. Also, the universe might feel like, okay, well, she's so focused on overwhelm because she's so overwhelmed all the time. She's so focused on overwhelm that we're just going to give her more things to be overwhelmed. So even if it does come into her life, it's going to feel very overwhelming. Now, when something comes into your life that you've been manifesting, don't you want it to feel good? You want it to feel good. Like you want to feel like, oh my God, look, I finally did it and this feels amazing. I'm going to tell you something. Just like most of us, I lead an extremely busy life, okay? Extreme with the shop and all of the things that I do. And of course, just my personal life, being a mother and a wife and a friend and a sister and all of the things. Now, along with my team, of course, we took on something really, really big for 2026. And we're going to announce it very soon, like very, very soon. But we took on something huge. And because our nervous systems were so, like, we worked at them. And because they were so cleared when it came to bigness, and because mine was, so right, like as the leader of this space, my energy will trickle down to everybody else's. So if I say we're going to take on something huge, we're going to do this, and I'm very calm about it and am expansive about it, and even though it's pushing everyone outside of their comfort zones, we're like, if I'm okay with it, they will be okay with it. They will feel calm in their nervous system around the expansion of what we're doing. Okay? So when you can do the work and open yourself up to the big expansive things that are meant to come into your life, they come in and they feel good. It comes in, and while there's still a lot of work to do and there's still like big things to do, it feels easy. And that is beauty right there. So now I'm talking about something big in business, but also if you want like more peace in your life, well, peace is actually a big thing. Like feeling peace in your life, you have to work through a lot because the world that we live in tells us that we should be stressed. And so most of us are in this stress state just because of a collective consciousness, right? So we have to actually work for peace, unfortunately. And so when you actually create the space for peace, and there's also worthiness factors, like, am I worthy of peace? Am I worthy to feel this good, to feel like less stress, right? Like there's so many things for different people that go into it. But when you actually start to move into it and create space for peace, well, you can then begin to rest without feeling guilty that you're resting. Take a nap in the middle of the day without feeling guilty about it. You can have a slow morning. You can get up earlier and have a nice slow morning and not feel like you have to be rushed. You can, my God, regulate your emotions, like regulate them. You don't have to fly off the handle. That might have been your lived experience with other people, but that's a learned experience as well, and you don't have to do that. Right? You can work with your nervous system to actually regulate the emotions before they bubble up, explode, etc. And then you're also giving your body time to integrate growth, because the nervous system can handle it. It can handle the growth without it feeling overwhelmed. So it's really important. And I highly suggest you booking a spinal energetic session with me very, very soon, in order to start to allow yourself to invite in what you want and to be able to receive it with beauty and with grace. So here's the thing. 2026. Listen to all these skills, right? Is it actually asking you to do more? Is 2026 saying hustle more? Is 2026 saying like you're not doing enough, right? Like, no, it's not. It's actually saying that do the healing work. 2026 is saying embody the version that you want to be. It's actually saying do less to create more impact. It's saying to stay consistent in your energy, right? We're talking about a lot of very beautiful, energetic things here. Become more, a lot of the themes here, right, of these skills is to become a version of you that exists already, that is in their glory, all of their glory, that is had the audacity to be themselves, and who knows and can see red flags from a mile away, and has beautiful discernment and stays in a beautiful frequency and can lead themselves because they know that they're leading from soul. It's more about you and you becoming the version of you that you know that you can be, the one that's led by soul, that's not in the fear-based mindset. And it's amazing, right? We're talking more intentional, more expressive, more grounded, and of course, being that self-led version. So these energetic skills are really, really going to have you creating the year that you truly want to see. A beautiful, amazing year. 2026 is your year, my friend. Every year is your year. Every year can be your year if you let it be. And I'm so excited for 2026. I'm so excited for you. I'm excited for myself. I'm excited for you. And I know that you can master all of these skills, and maybe you have to work into them a little bit. Maybe you have some down already. Maybe you're like, I've got discernment. I know a red flag from a mile away. And I also am not a people pleaser. So like, I've got discernment locked in. We're good. Right. But so you might need to work on another skill, right? So what skill is that for you? Really look at which one are you going to focus on first. I don't want you taking every single one of these things on. That would feel like a New Year's resolution, right? I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is have the intention to master some of these skills. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to come easier than you think. A lot of these are going to come easier than you think. So pick a skill, go hard on it. Let's get it done. And also look at this list, go back over this list and say, yeah, I've got that one. Oh, okay. Which ones do I actually have? And I'm good. And I'm going to start incorporating more of, or just be very aware of when I'm using this skill. Right? So do that. I guarantee you have at least one on the list that you've mastered already. And if not, you have a whole year to master all 7. And 7 is not a big number. You can do it. And I'm so excited for you. Happy New Year, and may 2026 be deemed by you your best year yet.